Welcome to World Tide News, where we navigate the powerful currents shaping our world. Today we examine a moment of extraordinary political theatre and moral collapse. Al Jazeera's head-to-head brought Mehdi Hasan face-to-face with Getachew Reda, the man who once spoke for Tigray in its darkest hour. During the war, Getachew was the spokesperson for the Tigray regional government, the public face of Tigray's resistance and a lead negotiator of the Pretoria Agreement. Today, he sits in Addis Ababa as an advisor to the very leader he once accused of orchestrating genocide, Ethiopia's Prime Minister and Commander-in-Chief, Abiy Ahmed. In that interview, Getachew tried to walk an impossible line. He did not rescue Abiy's reputation, he shattered it further and torched his own credibility in the process. On air, Getachew made three core admissions no lawyerly dodge can erase. First, he confirmed plainly and without retreat that genocide was committed in Tigray. Second, he conceded that Abiy Ahmed led the war as commander-in-chief, an assault that, in his own words, resulted in hundreds of thousands of deaths, carried out by a coordinated campaign involving multiple states and allied actors. Third, when pressed whether Abiy Ahmed personally carried out a genocidal campaign, Getachew suddenly shifted from the certainty of wartime accusations to evasive legalism, saying he cannot say who did this and that, and insisting only that crimes were committed, avoiding direct attribution.
Hold on, Getachew, you're working with the federal government that you spent years calling war criminals. You said Abiy Ahmed, and I'm quoting you, perfected genocide into an art form. Do you stand by those genocide accusations, or have you walked them back now that you work with?
Whatever the superlatives there, I know all kinds of crimes were committed in Tigray.
Did Abiy Ahmed carry out a genocide?
I will tell you this, as a lawyer, yeah. I cannot say who did this and that, but the crime was committed in Tigray.
You're a lawyer?
Yeah.
Were you not a lawyer in 2021 when you said Abiy Ahmed has carried out a genocidal campaign?
Yeah, I was a lawyer.
Were you not a lawyer when you said Abiy committed genocide on the people of Tigray?
I was a lawyer, and I was in the heat of a conflict that was claiming the lives of hundreds of thousands of people.
So was it a genocide or not?
I believe genocide has been committed in Tigray.
By Abiy Ahmed?
Well, I have to be responsible for my words now.
So you weren't responsible
And I
before.
am ready to stand by my position that genocide has been committed.
I'm confused. Just to clarify for the audience watching, you still believe it was a genocide,
yes.
But you're not willing to say he did the genocide?
Yes.
It was a genocide that just happened by itself?
No, there were so many actors involved.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is...
Was he one of them?
Well, the war on Tigray was led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed himself.
So he led the genocide?
I mean, we don't have to be that specific.
We do.
He led the war.
That's why we invited you here, to find out your views.
He led the war.
He led the war.
So I will give him the opportunity to defend himself in public, in court.
Okay.
What I'm saying is all kinds of crimes.
You mentioned...
Crimes, ethnic cleansing, genocide were committed.
The result is not nuance. It is an incoherent dodge. If genocide was committed in Tigray, and if Abiy Ahmed led the war that produced it, then logic, law, and basic morality all point in the same direction. Abiy Ahmed bears responsibility for genocide, unless you believe a genocide can be waged without leadership, or somehow the authors of those crimes had dissolved into thin air. Getachew's hesitation does not protect Abiy. It only exposes the political pressure he is under, and the contradictions he cannot resolve. You cannot have it both ways. The New Lines Institute's detailed study on Tigray fills in the picture Getachew avoided. It finds a reasonable basis to believe genocide was committed against Tigrayans by state forces and their allies, acting in coordinated, sustained campaigns that show intent rather than random chaos. The study describes a chain of command. The interview hands us the name at the top of that chain. Together, they form a damning alignment, a genocide recognized in law and fact, and a war explicitly acknowledged to have been led by Abiy Ahmed. From there, the contradictions multiply. Getachew once called Abiy a tyrant, a grifter, a man obsessed with Ethiopia's imperial past, someone who, in his words, perfected mass killing into an art form. He spoke of drone strikes aimed at him personally. He recalled his own sister being abducted by the forces Abiy controlled. He urged Tigrayan youth to rise in tens of thousands and go to the front where many died.
Two things here. That Tigrayans had to come out en masse to defend themselves was the right thing to do. That I had to call on them to rise up to defend themselves was the right thing to do. But that, as member of the leadership, we have failed them miserably. That I will carry to my grave is I am part of the blame. And the reason why I am trying to do what I am doing right now is to make sure that not only I atone for the kinds of mistakes we have done, but also I have to do everything in my power to make sure that that sort of miscalculation will never happen again.
In the interview, he tries to explain this pivot as pragmatism, even atonement. He says he wants to secure peace, to protect Tigray's people by working with whoever is in charge. But when asked what has actually changed on the ground, where is the justice, where is the accountability, he cannot point to concrete results. Independent experts on the panel confirm it.
Any evidence for that as of now? They have put in place a so-called transitional justice mechanism to address the mass atrocities taking place in Tigray during the war. But that framework of so-called transitional justice is more aimed at not disclosing and not placing accountability on individuals, but diverting attention to other aspects of Ethiopia's long troubled history of human rights abuse. So as of today, we have no evidence whatsoever that the government is providing accountability for the mass atrocities.
The government he now serves shut down international investigations. Getachew's presence inside that system does not change those facts. It only raises a sharper question. Is he there to challenge impunity or to repackage it? So what did this interview really give us? It gave us a government advisor who admits justice has not been done, that international efforts for accountability were dismantled, that a domestic process is hollow so far, and yet remains inside the system, offering 5 cents of advice while the victims still wait for truth and redress. And yet, if you strip away the evasions, what remains is stark. Genocide in Tigray did not just happen. It was carried out by organized forces under state authority. Abiy Ahmed, by Getachew's own description, led the war that enabled it. International legal analysis supports the genocide finding. The leader who commanded the war still sits in power, unpunished. In trying to soften the implications of his own past words, Getachew inadvertently did something else. He confirmed in front of a global audience the core of the case that victims, investigators, and international lawyers have long argued, that Abiy Ahmed committed genocide. This was not a successful defense of Abiy Ahmed. For history, that contradiction will not be forgotten. For justice, it is one more piece of evidence waiting to be weighed. This is World Tide News. If you value staying informed about the forces shaping our world, please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next report. Thank you for watching.